How many of you guys have heard of Zone? Have any of you guys ever tried it or have any idea of what it's consists of, sort of? So basically what we're going to do is break everything down into macronutrients. So your carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. So that's essentially all we're really going to be focusing on for the 10-week challenge. What that does gives you a little more leeway as far as not having to think as much about what you're consuming. And the way that Zone is broken down is into your blocks. Okay, so we can go into a little more about the block. So one block is consisting of 9 grams of carbohydrates, 7 grams of protein, and 3 grams of fat. Now, 3 grams of fat is a little bit deceiving. It's actually 1.5 grams of fat, but that's assuming that for every block of protein, there is 1.5 grams of fat already in the protein. So what that equals out to is roughly 3 grams of fat. So what that means, though, is you're actually probably going to consume a little bit less fat because there's already some considered in each protein. Okay. This is also known as the 40-30-30. Okay. Basically, again, 40% carbohydrates, 30% protein, 30% fat. All right. If you look at basically a plate each time, a real easy way to do this. Let's say you're out to eat or something like that. A real easy way to consider what you're eating into a Zone meal is basically if you have your plate, protein, and fat. So a big chunk of that is going to be taken up by carbohydrates. Okay. With your protein, easy rule of thumb, the size of your palm, no thicker than your palm. Again, something if you're out to eat or something like that, real easy way to decipher how much protein you should be eating. Okay. I think what's going to be most eye-opening for a lot of people is really how much fat you should be intaking. Okay, we'll go into it a little bit more in depth, but essentially, for someone like me, if I was going to eat almonds as my fat for the meal, it's 15 almonds. It's like half a handful. 15 almonds on the way up. You should be eating meat, some sort of protein with every single meal. All right, that includes breakfast. Again, we're doing Paleo Zone, so no pasta, no breads. All right, so it's a lot of leafy green vegetables and fat. Obviously, good fats, high in omega-3s. Not so much the omega-6s and omega-9s. But your almonds, olive oils, things like that. You guys would definitely need a food scale. So food scales run anywhere from $10 up to probably $100. The one I bought was like 25 or 30. Get something middle of the road. You don't need the super expensive one, but the cheap ones maybe not be as accurate. Just get something in the middle of the road, maybe $20 to $40. Okay. And again, the idea behind this is you guys are going to be using this, hopefully continuing on after these 10 weeks. Okay. We're going to send you guys a little packet. We're going to print them out, but it's like 10 sheets of paper, and it's just going to be a waste of paper for us to print one out for every one of you guys. So we're going to actually send you an article. It's actually an old CrossFit article from 2004. But looked into 5 or 6 different explanations of the Zone and how it works, and to be completely honest, this is probably the easiest and most basic way to explain it. Okay, there's lots of different ways to go about it. What I really like about what's in this packet is number 1, it has meal plans. Number 2, it has exactly how much carbohydrates, protein, and fat is in each object of food. Okay, so the big thing, obviously, everyone's going to be a little bit different in size. Okay, so on here there will be a little chart. I'll show you guys here in a little bit. It runs everything through small female, medium, large, athletic, well-muscled female to small male, medium male, large male, extra large male, a hard gainer, a large hard gainer, and an athletic, well-muscled male. So hard gainers being someone, let's say, who have a super high metabolism, and everything you put in your body just goes right back out. Mark's a pretty good example. Mark just has to eat constantly to keep his weight up. And depending on the size of your body, depending on what you consider yourself, that's going to be dependent on how many blocks you eat per day. Okay? So, someone like myself, I consider myself either somewhere between a medium and large male. Okay, somewhere between 17 and 19 blocks. So, let's just round it to 18 blocks for a day. All right?
Yeah!
So, and for, let's say, a medium female is only going to be 11 blocks. All right? So, the way those work out, just kind of through your daily meal intake. So, large male, I'm going to have 5 blocks, 2 block snack, 5 block dinner, 2 block snack, versus my breakfast is going to consist of 45 grams of carbs, 35 grams of protein, and 15 grams of fat. Whereas a medium female is going to be 27, 21, and 9. Okay, so obviously a little bit less food. Alright? So, the way the blocks are going to work out. So, obviously different foods are going to consist of different carbohydrate values, different sugar values, things like that. In the packet is going to explain kind of how to break that down. For instance, let's just say my breakfast is going to be sweet potatoes, eggs, and, well, let's do this. So, my breakfast. My breakfast, so for proteins, I'm going to eat just eggs, okay? Just eggs, that's going to be 5 eggs. 1 egg is 1 block. Okay, it doesn't have to be 5 whole eggs. You could have maybe a piece of chicken with it. It just depends. Again, I'll show you guys a little bit later on what foods consist of what. So 5 eggs equals 5 blocks. So for each 5 block meal, I'm eating 5 blocks of protein, 5 blocks of carbs, 5 blocks of fat. Alright? So for my carbohydrates, this is where things get a little interesting, because again, different carbohydrate values for different foods. Alright? If I want to eat, let's say a banana is actually considered an unfavorable carb. Okay? That's 3 blocks. Alright? To get that same amount of blocks, if I was going to eat broccoli. Alright? Broccoli would be 6 cups of broccoli to equal the same amount of carbohydrates as 1 banana. Okay? So you guys are going to be eating a lot of veggies. So like I said, we're trying to eat a lot of leafy green vegetables. Alright? For the same amount of spinach, it would be 8 cups of spinach. Onions have a high sugar content. So caramelized onions, you guys have all had those. As you cook them more, the sugars come out. So 1 block of, I'm going to do sweet potatoes and onion. So onion, half a cup equals 1 block, and 2/3 of a cup of sweet potato. 2/3 cup equals 1 block. So those are my 5 blocks. 3 plus 1 plus 1. 5 blocks of carbohydrates. Okay, so I need to cook all this stuff. So my fat is going to be olive oil. So like I said before, most people are using a little too much fat when they're cooking. So if I use olive oil, that's going to be 1 2/3 teaspoon. That's the baby one.
What about coconut oil?
It's going to be roughly the same.
It is.
It's going to be roughly the same. Most oils will be roughly all the same because of their fat content. You can get into monosaturated and polysaturated fats, but coconut oil, olive oil is good, both cooking substitutes. Okay. What do you consider beans as far as one of the macronutrients? Carbohydrates. Yes. So the thing to look at is what is the most dominant macronutrient. So almonds, yes, there is protein in almonds, but they're dominantly fat. Okay?
So if you eat almonds, you're only counting them in the fat. You're not
only counting them
in...
exactly. There will be added calories among all this stuff, all right? But again, we're only counting the dominant factor. Okay. So this would be breakfast. So like I said, that's not a lot. I mean, that's like 2 little baby scoops of olive oil. So my suggestion, if you guys don't have one of those ceramic non-stick pans, they have them now. They like the green like ceramic stuff on them or whatever. Suggest getting one of those just because it's a lot easier to cook with. Okay, you don't have to use as much fat in a lot of those. So there's a sample breakfast. Your meal should basically keep you full without feeling that kind of drained feeling for about 4 to 6 hours. Okay, and it will happen if you eat, raw spinach. Exactly, because you will be consuming a lot of vegetables. Okay, so there will be times like your 2-block snack or a 1-block snack. Okay, like I said, you guys should be eating meat of some sort or protein of some sort with each meal. Okay, so that may be 2 little ounces of chicken, an apple for your carbohydrate, and 6 almonds. Okay, so just a 2-block snack, something to ramp your metabolism up again and keep you going until you get to the dinner time, and then something maybe after dinner. Okay, and obviously there's going to be days where you might have to do, substitute a 6, 6, and 6 because you don't have time. Okay, so a lot of this is going to be meal prep as well, right? Prepping out what you're going to have. So getting, proper Tupperware and things like that, containers that you can bring to work and things like that, because it is pretty tough to eat on the go like this, especially if you're trying to measure out your food.
The effect that they have on your insulin, they make it spike, right? The glycemic index is high. So all the natural vegetables, whatever, ultimately the zone per se is keeping your insulin and everything from spiking, keeping everything level. When you hit the peaks and valleys, that's when I'm so full, and then you're eating everything, or you get tired.
The extreme version of that is eating a bunch of chocolate and feeling that almost sugar rush, where you're spiking the insulin when you drop off. Chronic inflammation, okay, is a big problem, obviously in the United States. So what this does is reduces a lot of inflammation, and dairy promotes inflammation, especially in excess. So, but to answer your question, it would be considered protein because it is dominantly protein. You can get the containers of egg whites, Kroger, things like that. You can do egg whites. You can do either one. They're both considered protein. Basically, so what I would do, I just did 5 eggs for an example. What I do for breakfast is 3 whole eggs, and then on the side of the carton, it tells you what the equivalent is per egg. So I think 2 eggs is a half a cup of egg whites. So if you just get your measuring cup out, that would be considered 2 eggs. So that would consist of your 5 blocks of protein. Okay, just keep some of that cholesterol down.
So, if we were, say I'm a medium female,
Yes.
our goal is to do 3 of each, so we shouldn't go below or above, right?
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah. So you're balanced throughout the day.
I like the idea of eating a lot, so.
Yeah. No, you will be, and that's the thing too, is just to stop thinking about necessarily so much as food is being this, I love cheesy bread kind of stuff. Like, it's delicious, and you can obviously make really good food, but to start thinking about food is the fuel that's running your body. Okay? Like, you just don't go to the gas station and just put in dirty gasoline. You want nice, efficient, clean burning fuel. Okay? The other thing too is you may have some vitamin deficiency depending on what you're eating. If you're one of those people that, like, I'm cool with eating the same thing every single day. That's not necessarily recommended, but if that's what's working for you, you're obviously going to need to supplement some sort of vitamin in. So a good solid multivitamin is something to think about as well. Okay, if you guys don't take one already. All right. I drink coffee like it's my job.
So you can
Black.
drink black. You can drink black.
Black coffee.
About like calorie zero.
Doesn't have to be. You don't have to be caffeine.
I know, yeah, in moderation. All right, so just real quick going into like a sample lunch. All right, just as an example. So for my protein, 5 ounces of chicken. 1 ounce of chicken is 1 block. So again, if this was a 3-block meal, it would be 3 ounces of chicken. Okay, so it just varies on how many blocks you're going for. So I'm going for 5 blocks of carbohydrates. So I do a half a cup of onion, 1 block, 2 cups of broccoli, 1 block, a half a pepper. There's actually a measurement for pepper. Generally speaking, if you take a pretty good size bell pepper, cut it in half, that's generally 1 block. Okay. The other thing you're going to start to learn as well is you can look at something and tell about how much it is. So one good size head of broccoli, you know, you get like go to Kroger, they have like the bunches of broccoli. Okay. One of those good sized block or heads of broccoli is generally 2 cups. Okay. So you may be a little over, a little shy. All right. But and I think it's like 1 1/3 cup of pepper. That equals out to roughly a half a pepper. And 1 zucchini is 1 block. Okay. So and I think that again equals out to some sort of cup ratio. But again, I found that generally 1 zucchini is 1 block. All right. And then substitute something a little bit sweet. A cup of strawberries is 1 block. All right. And then for my fat, I'm just going to cook it in a nice non-stick pan. All right. So I don't need necessarily olive oil. And I'm going to have my 5 blocks of fat and almonds. So 3 almonds per block, 15 almonds. Okay. So that is my fat content. All right. That's a pretty good sized meal to really get in. So this is like in the morning you're up, you're like, there's no way I can eat 49 cups of spinach right now. All right. So this is as you've woken up, your metabolism's going, things like that. This is really just trying to get the metabolism going. Now I've moved over. I'm pretty hungry in the afternoon. This is going to hold me over for quite some time. The actual Zone website.
Okay.
Okay. And there's another website that we'll be sending out. It's called Swole Me. I don't know why it's called that. It's like SWOLE.me. And what you can do is actually go in and put in your height, weight, and I think all this stuff, and how many calories you're going to eat a day. It even says, I don't know how many calories I'm going to eat a day. And it asks for weight and all that stuff, and whether you're trying to lose, maintain, or gain weight. And then you can pick paleo foods, and it will give you meal plans for the day.
Great.
Sweet.
That's what we're going to use.
Yeah, that's what we're going to use for you guys.
We're going to send that to you if you're not going to do it yourself.
Okay. The other big thing is to write down everything you're eating. I know we're going to go through that. Mark's going to go through that, I'm sure, in what we're sending out and everything. But when I originally started doing Zone a long time ago, I literally notebooks and notebooks and notebooks of every meal I ate. Okay? Yes.
Is there a good app that you would recommend?
Pencil and paper. Mustard is good. Hot sauce in moderation if you guys like things a little spicy. I would recommend all of you guys go down to Finley Market, take a visit to was it Colonel D? Go to Colonel D's.
Butcher Betty's is right next door, and she does grass-fed beef.
It's literally just a massive spice shop. Get in touch with your spices, you know, curries and cumins and things like that. Thyme is always good with chicken. There's a rosemary and beef. Pork's really good with the rosemary as well. So there are really good things to flavor your dishes with, not just your salt and pepper. So try your hardest to.
I mean, you don't have to be the person that's.
Don't be that guy at dinner.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we can't go there.
Yeah.
But zero.
Zero alcohol?
Zero cheats. We got some pretty good cheat meals.
Alcohol is
Cheap as in
alcohol is carbs, right?
Alcohol is carbohydrates. Really good recipes I'll be showing you guys. I know I talked to Mark. We're going to be each one of us, between myself, Mark, John, Julie, and Chris, are going to be putting out at least one recipe a week, and we'll tell you exactly how many blocks it is per serving. Okay, and there are tons of recipes out there.
Will you cook it for us too?
What's that?
Will you cook it for us?
For a price.
We'll have an occasional cookout on Saturday after the walks, probably.
Yeah.
Burgers, stuff like that.
I will tell you this, guys. When I did it, I saw a serious change in energy levels and a definite change in body composition. Serious. That's where something like the plate comes in. Okay, so most salads, get dressing on the side if you can, and use like a third of it. Okay, but again, like you want mainly high quality leafy green carbs. Okay, you can get steamed broccoli and stuff like that, and then a third of it of protein and a little bit of
That's the
fat.
plate,
And
right? I
that's
missed
from
the
the
beginning.
grill.
Yeah, this would be your
Your plate should be mostly carbs.
Yeah, so let's say you're eating out, this would be your plate. This would be the 40-30-30. So carbohydrates, 40-30 for the protein, 30% for the fat.
And that's from the grill.
Because if you're a hard gainer, you're a female, whatever, yeah, of course you want to lose weight, but as you get stronger, the scale's going to lie to you. You know, your pants are being loose on you, but the scale is increasing. You know, that makes no sense. So the overall winner will be the team that loses the most percent of body fat. All right. So we have a hand caliper, and then we will also be measuring females' waist hips and males' waist ribs.
Thank you.
Get your final
Good luck, because I'm coming for you.